Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to The Smartest Guy in the Room. It's a podcast about anything and nothing all at the same time. I'm your host, Jerry Dempsey, along with my forever pal, John Matthew Otis Smith.
Happy Saturday, Jerry.
Hi, we made it through another week, buddy.
We did. Hey, I was watching one of those murder shows last night, one of those Dateline shows with my daughter.
Yeah.
And my daughter loves murder shows. She's really into like Dateline. And this woman was on the stand who was the guilty party.
Yeah.
And she was a real smartass. And she kept calling the prosecutor by her first name and stuff. And the prosecutor said that this woman was the kind of person who thought she was always the smartest person in the room.
Yeah. And that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is the genesis of why I even came to this idea. Because in my corporate life, and you guys know in your corporate lives, everybody out there, there's always that asshole that always is trying to be the smartest guy in the room. And then when you get a bunch of them together, it's like a hive of angry, stupid bees all stinging each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I run for the fucking hills.
Speaking of the hills, you were in the mountains this week, huh?
Yes. Copper Mountain, California, or Colorado, excuse me.
Never heard of it.
Here. Might have a little jet lag. Yeah, it was great. Took the kids, did a little skiing. I actually took my family to a hot springs, and I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but my wife and children are Asian, and we actually witnessed some racial activity.
Really?
Yeah, we're in this big hot springs. It's in Glenwood, Colorado. It's really cool. I don't know what happened, but there was an older white lady. We can call her Karen, because that's the cool thing to call these people nowadays.
She deserves it.
She started a fight with this Asian mom. We'll call her Tiger Mom. Again, don't know what it was about. All I know is there was a lot of screaming. Security came, and they threw out the Karen.
Did you throw hands?
I ran away. I grabbed my Asian children and ran for cover, like any good chicken would.
Speaking of your Asian children, man, Quinn, you sent me his audition tape. He wants to be an actor. That kid is good.
He's pretty amazing kid. Yeah,
I was like,
thank you.
Usually your friends send you shit about their kids, and you're like, oh, that's cute. But I was like, seriously, like blown away. He's talented.
Thank you. He's a good kid, and he's pretty diligent. So
as all of America, as they watch us this morning, will notice we have a third guy, and he is here for a very important reason. His name is Brian Frawley. He's built like a brick shithouse.
Animal.
Spends his summers on Maine water skiing in what his sister-in-law likes to call the main event. He's a lot of people don't know this. He's Ivan Putski's love child, and he's got muscles in his shit. So, Brian, welcome aboard.
Thank you, Matthew.
Brian is here, as I said, to solve a very important mystery that has taken place has existed the last 20 years, maybe.
Probably more.
Jerry, Jerry and Brian, why don't you guys talk about what this debate centers around?
Pretty controversial. I'm going to let Brian kind of lead us in. Just, if you can, from your memory, Brian, recreate the story for our guests.
This is good. I was trying to think of this when I found out about the topic, because it just really became the joke after it. And now I'm trying to remember the real story. But it was, so Jerry and I lived in California at the same time, back in the 90s, late 90s. And we got in a seasonal rental in Tahoe with my cousin and some other folks. And I don't know. Jerry's just full of shit most of the time. So he came back from, I don't know if he was driving or a walk or whatever, but he saw a mountain cat. And I was like, you did not see a mountain cat. What is a mountain cat? And we just went through this whole thing. So he has always insisted that he saw a mountain cat. I don't know why. I think it was really just because Jerry said it, because it's very possible that there is a mountain cat in Tahoe. but because Jerry said it, I didn't believe him. And so now for the last 20 plus years, anytime a mountain cat comes up, one of us will send a picture to the other one or that they've spotted one, that kind of thing. That's what I remember of it.
Well, and that's a good intro, Brian. You've glossed over a few things, so I'm definitely going to fill in the details with truth and probably mostly lies. Part of the problem I've suffered, folks, for my entire life and still continues to this day is I am the kid that cried wolf, that never got eaten by said wolf and or mountain cat. So the truth of the matter is, because I lie a lot, and I do it for fun mostly, not to, separate people from their money or any other nefarious reasons, but I like to have a good time, and I like to joke, and I like to invent funny things, because most of the time life's fairly boring. But anyway, fast forward to Lake Tahoe. But I mean, I used to get in trouble all the time with my parents for making up shit, and I used to get hit a lot by them. What Brian didn't tell you is like our ski house of mostly good friends almost erupted into a melee of fighting, which probably would have ended with a fire or a TV getting thrown out a second-story window. That usually caps off a good night of drinking where I come from. I don't know about the rest of you. So anyway, I went out to get coffee in the morning, and I drove to this little coffee joint in beautiful Lake Tahoe. It's super cold out, snow everywhere. Just a beautiful scene. Anyway, I get my coffee, and I'm heading back. It's probably about 7:30 in the morning. And I see what looks to me like some kind of Chupacabra, that had sex with a wolf running across the road. And it kind of like gave me the look like F you as it ran across the road and darted up into the hill.
I need to interrupt here for a minute. What, you saw a what?
It looked like the love child of like a Chupacabra and like some kind of giant wolf man.
What the fuck is a Chupacabra?
You'll have to Google it, and maybe,
it's like a Mexican old wives' tale mythical creature.
It could have been a capybara got in there and they had a three-way. I really don't know.
That actually is an
fucking cat aficionado. I've never heard these.
I mean, there's all kinds of animals out in the wilderness. Some that we haven't even, discovered to this day.
When did you become a wilderness expert like Merlin Perkins? Perkins?
Hey, speaking of which, that man used to be the curator at the Buffalo Zoo.
Really?
Take that for some. Yes.
Wow.
The Mutual of Omaha guy. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So the capybara or however it's pronounced, the only reason I know that's a real animal because of the Erie County Fair and their petting zoo, because it's like the world's largest rodent, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
What it's known
for. It lives in South America. It's like a giant rat.
I used to make sausage at the Erie County Fair.
Holy cow. I've never had a job at the Erie County Fair. I'm jealous of both of you right now.
When the fair would shut down, I would party on the Midway with all the carnies. It was fucking awesome. These people were like, half of them were like, had warrants out on them and they were running from the law.
One of my bucket list items is to be in a smash up derby contest, because I went to one at the Erie County Fair once.
That was the highlight of the fair.
Yeah.
I mean,
the demolition.
I still dream of doing it. But I mean, cars today, what are you going to do it with a fucking Tesla? Sounds dumb.
All right, so back to the Cobra.
So anyway, I get very excited when I see this, what looked to me like it could have been a lynx or a mountain cat or just a large dog, okay? Or a small bear. I mean,
This is what I'm talking about.
I decided, to like, I get back to the ski house and everyone's just, kind of shaking their hangovers off and, grousing and watching TV. And now I've already drank my coffee, so I'm good and pumped up. So I come in and I just start yelling, guys, I saw an effing mountain cat. And they're all like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, it was giant. It ran across, and I told them it like jumped on the top of my car and like it pissed on me like I'm its territory. I had this whole story, and they're all like, "Oh, Dempsey, you're full of shit. You're full of shit." And the more they accused me of being a liar, which I was, the more I had to like kind of hold, stand my ground and defend it. I'm like, no, I fucking saw it. I tried to take him to the spot where I saw it to find out. And by then, like, Brian, your brother wasn't there, but his brother knows I'm a tremendous liar from back in the day. And his cousins were still kind of new to, like, there are people on the fence that wanted to believe. It's just like Bigfoot. People want to believe these things. So anyway, I divided the house, and that's how you conquer. That's how you become the smartest motherfucker in the room, too. You tell half the room, the other half is full of shit. And they don't believe each other, then everyone just believes you.
So wait, so was this a lie, or did you really see this hybrid of a...
I mean, is this the moment of coming clean, like Alanis Morissette telling everyone who the fucking song was about? I mean, is that what we're doing here?
Wait,
because if we are...
yeah. Wasn't that the guy on Full House?
That's the rumor, but...
I mean, has that ever been? I mean, I checked Snopes for that one just the other day. It never came to anything.
Hey, who can't resist blowing Dave Coulier in a movie theater?
The closest we've come to an admittance is apparently there was, because I heard this on another podcast I was listening. They were talking about this exact topic, and they said apparently Dave Coulier in an interview, the closest it ever came was, he's like, I don't know if I'm the person, but she did call me in the middle of dinner once. Which is a line in the song. So
I mean, yeah, so either way, I'm going to go to the truth finally for once and just say it was probably a dog. Okay.
So it was a fucking dog. You saw a goddamn dog. I see a goddamn dog every day.
See, what's funny, and what if you're listening to us right now and you're like, this is a stupid story, I agree with you. But what makes it funny is because every day, week, month, years pass, and like I'll see a picture on the internet of a bobcat running through the Olympic Village, up in Canada, and I'll send the picture to Brian's phone. I'm like, look, motherfucker, another mountain cat. I was right.
So, Brian, now that this mystery is solved and Jerry admits that he was a liar and saw a fucking Labrador.
I mean, you have your closure.
I want to bring up another issue about the ski house. Is it true that at the ski house, your brother, another fucking muscle fucking bound shit house, this guy has traps that go from his ears to his deltoids. He looks like just big triangles he's lugging around in his shoulder. But anyway, is it true that your brother Mike got fucking rough and angry with Jerry because he did not believe a handicapped golfer deserved to be, be in a cart?
This is true. So the best part of this argument is that as Jerry got drunker throughout the night, he started this argument. He didn't care either way. He just wanted to start a fight. He switched sides in his own argument. So then he confused all of us, and we're like, wait, what? Weren't we arguing the other way?
Classic diversion. Yes.
But that was also the trip that I missed the nickname podcast. I would have loved to be on that one because Jerry left out a couple of his classics. But the nickname Cool Jerry came out of that trip as well. And
I never heard that
known
one.
as the cool one. And
because I'm cooler than everyone else.
It was a completely ironic nickname. I don't want to get into how it came to Cool Jerry because it gets into a gross story.
Little filthy Urban Dictionary.
But Jerry comes out. He's telling somebody at work when he worked at Cisco. He was like trying to bragging to somebody. He's like, yeah, they call me cool. They call me the cool one.
Because I'm the cool guy. There's some chick I was trying to impress.
Yeah, we're like, that is not why it is the most ironic nickname you can
I was trying to get Brian to go with me, man. He wouldn't go. I'm like winking at him, like, come on, tell her how cool I am.
I didn't know that Mike was so heartless, though.
Mike's a rules. He's a stickler for fucking rules.
Is
right,
he really?
Brian? Back me up.
I can see that.
Yeah, it was about it was more about the rules of it, and not
he
about
doesn't like
that he
gifts
didn't
either. Come on.
I had
hiding. He's bashing bashing handicap people.
I was in Boston in October and had dinner with Mike. I've known Mike now for what? 40 years. I still don't know if he likes me. He always looks annoyed when he's around me.
It's kind of his demeanor, but
I can't tell. His wife is. I love it. His wife is a sweetheart.
Yeah, she is a saint.
She might not like me either, but she smiles just to be nice. But I don't know.
No, she loves you. She always brings up your Instagram stuff and shows it to Mike. Mike is completely does not want to be found on social media at all, so he just relies on us to inform him of what his friends are doing.
They got good looking kids.
Mike is a man of the people. He should have run for like the mayor of Boston. I think he would have done well. They used to call him, speaking of nicknames, I think they used to call him Cozy Mike at the beach house because he was every man's friend.
Yeah,
I don't
see him as the mayor. I see him as, but you're right. He is every man's friend. I see him as the guy behind the scenes, like, taking care of business, making connections, making other people look good, getting shit done. He seems very efficient. Are you guys German?
No, we're Irish.
Really? He'd make a great German.
Yeah, there was you guys had all kinds of good nicknames for him as he progressed through his. You had Corporate Frawley.
Frawley when he worked at Honeywell. I'll just tell you,
Frawley
he helped me grow up
when he started doing karate.
My favorite was Ivan Putski.
What about when I used to call him Nostradamus because of his oversized nose with big nostrils? It's kind of mean, but I've been a dick, so who cares? No, I can tell you, when I was 18 years old, Mike and I were somewhere, and he pulled out a checkbook, just like a grandma does to pay for groceries at the fucking supermarket. And I'm watching him write a check, and I'm like, "Oh, is that your parents' checkbook?" He's like, "No, I have my own checkbook." And I was so impressed by that. It actually, I thought, geez, I have to grow up and be like Mike, and I have to have my own checkbook.
Mike is impressive. Mike's definitely impressive.
That actually, I don't know why, it just reminded me of one of Jerry's other nicknames that was from back in the day. That remember the BMOC, Big Mr. Oil Change?
I loved, I learned a lot about changing oil. I learned about how much I didn't want to fucking do it for a career.
Well, I think you took care of that when you forgot to put the oil cap back in that guy's car.
I did so many. We talked about that. That's from one of our other podcasts, too. I fucked up a lot of cars. I closed the hood of a car with an oil can because sometimes people wanted the bottled oil, and there's no real difference because there's like a pump and a bottled can. Anyway, I had the can, just like Tommy Boy. Remember, the oil can was, and you shut the hood, and it went crank. But at least this was an old car that didn't dent that quickly. But there was still a dent in the car. Guy never saw it. Fucking drove away. So, too bad.
So, Frawls, what's going on in Boston today?
Nothing. It's pretty chilly. Getting tired of this up and down weather. But I got my niece's championship hockey game at 4:00. That's the
what one?
Kate.
Kate.
Yeah. Sarah gave up. She's the middle of the three. Sarah gave up on hockey after 1 year. She's into gymnastics. Yeah.
Well, that's a good sport. That's a good sport.
But,
so, Mike and Brian, they have a family of cousins that, like Jerry's family, has about 30,000 children in it. And Jerry, as we bring this show to a close, you were talking about before we went on the air your memory of having dinner with Brian's cousins.
So, I'll grab it from here. This family had 8 kids, right, Brian?
Yes.
8 children. So I'm one of 11. My good friend John was one of 8, and all of them are characters, just like in my house, including the parents, especially our fathers. A lot of similarities, just a lot of personality and just a lot of funniness. So most of the time when I would eat dinner at other people's houses, I would feel very fish out of water-esque because, they had nice manners. They all spoke well to each other and were very kind and generous and respectful. And finally, I'm at a dinner table where I fit in because they're all insulting each other, hitting each other, taking food off each other's plates, kind of just like at my house. And all I can remember, the funniest part was, there's a lot of arguing and just laughing and mocking. And two of the boys were going at it. And the father was standing at the kitchen sink and he says, hey, and he had a nice euphemistic name for one of them. I'm not going to repeat. And he turns on the water. He's like, see this? I'm like Pontius Pilate. I'm washing my hands of you. And I started laughing like an idiot. And he's like, hey, Dempsey, I'm washing my hands of you too. So get the hell out of here if you're not going to do something. Yeah. So I felt, again, some kids might have cried and ran away and been, so their parent doesn't like me. Whereas I felt like, oh, this was my tribe. I'm at home. I love Mr. Erickson, though. He was great.
That's pretty poetic, Jerry. I didn't know if you planned that or what, but
no.
The Pontius Pilate reference, the day before Easter.
Yeah.
Nicely done.
Hey, it all ties together, just like the dude's rug, All right, gentlemen. Right. Brian, you have anything for our listeners? You want to plug anything? Your new book, CrossFit?
No, I don't have any special skills, so.
I mean, before we end, we did do a segment on fitness, Brian, and obviously of the three of us on this call, you are way more fit than me or that other handsome devil with the beautiful sweater. If you were going to do a 2-second sales pitch or a 2-minute on CrossFit, what would you say to our listeners?
Jeez. Well, it's not. There's definitely that aspect to it. I'm not one of those people that talk about it or do whatever. I mean, it is a great workout. And if you want something different and you're competitive, basically what drew me to it is I'd blown out my shoulder so many times in lacrosse. I had to stop playing men's league that I needed something to be competitive with. And it's a great way to be in shape. And as long as you have to pull your ego out of it, you're going to get hurt, because there's going to be women in the class that can lift more than you and do more than you because they're better. They know the movements. But it also is very culty, and people people that I work out with drive me nuts with how much they talk about it. So
is it true that they forbid shirts?
It would seem so. I don't know how they do it. I have to have a shirt on. Like, it drives me, like, I just don't want all that grit on me, but for some reason they have to take their shirts off.
That's why. I mean, if you have to wear a shirt at 7-Eleven, why do you not have to wear a shirt at a CrossFit gym? That seems very unsanitary.
I don't know. I don't know how it started.
I want to start a shirt drive for CrossFitters. I want people all across America to donate T-shirts so these poor CrossFitters can have something to wear.
See, I'm kind of going the other direction with that, because I want to take my shirt off and make people look at my fat. Because I don't have to see it, so I might as well, if I want to torture you.
Well, they have to do it. Maybe they have plenty of shirts because they're all say CrossFit on them. So otherwise, how else would you know that they do CrossFit? But they just take them off when they get to the gym. So
I think Skins is the official CrossFit shirt.
Yes, that's the team. There's only one team, Skins.
Hey, Brian, would you do me a favor when the show ends?
Take your shirt off
between now and I don't know. The next 30 years. Can you find out if Mike likes me?
I will do that.
All right.
You don't have to ask him. I know he doesn't like me.
I think Mike's the smartest man in the room today.
He is. He always is.
He's always been a hero of mine. So yes.
All right, guys.
Good talk.
All right. Thanks,
Stay
boys.
free, brother.
Enjoy your Saturday. Bye-bye.
Bye.